Good evening. On behalf of the Council of Religious Advisors, welcome to the Convocation for the class of 2017 at Carnegie Mellon University. We recognize and celebrate the diversity of faith, belief, and values that represent Carnegie Mellon University and its student body. And within that diversity, I ask you to pray with me. Almighty God, we gather this evening to celebrate all that you have made, all that you have given us, and the arrival of the Carnegie Mellon University class of 2017. We thank you for the vision and direction of those who have served Carnegie Mellon University in years past. Thank you for the professors, teachers, staff, and administration of the university who continue to carry on that vision of meeting the changing needs of society and the greater world. We thank you for these students. They are beautiful. What an amazing gift it is to have them here and to watch them grow day by day in their knowledge, abilities, friendships, talent, and awareness of who they are. We pause for a moment to thank you for those who have helped these students achieve this day. The parents, family, friends, teachers, coaches, and all the others who have been a wonderful support for these students. May they continue to encourage these students to continue to reach for their dreams and achieve great things. What an incredible world we live in. It contains so much potential for us to play with, work with, develop, and innovate. Thank you for all the learning and work that happens here within the Carnegie Institute of Technology, the College of Fine Arts, the Dietrich College of Humanities and Social Sciences, the Tepper School of Business, the Heinz College, the Mellon College of Science, and the School of Computer Science. Thank you for all these areas and the other areas in which these young students will learn and grow. For the athletic fields and courts, for the residence halls and dining tables, for the late nights and long conversations, for the public stages and the private practice rooms. Continue to teach these students, and us as well, to look with compassion on others, both near and far. Take away any arrogance and hatred that may fill us. Give us the grace and ability to love our neighbors and seek peace. Fill us with passion and joy to create, work, serve, love, and rest with all that we are. We ask you to bless these students as they enter this new stage of their lives. May their working, researching, creating, making, and living with each other honor the tradition of Carnegie Mellon University. May these first-year students bless others as they seek to use their minds, abilities, and dreams to enhance society in meaningful and sustainable ways. Bless also the rest of the world, that we may all learn to live and love well. Be with us this evening and help these students to put their heart in the work. Amen.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Convocation 2013. My name is Ashley Reeder, and I'm one of this year's head orientation counselors for the residents on 5th. It is my honor to welcome all of you to the Carnegie Mellon community. We have gathered here this afternoon to share in a tradition that we call Convocation, meaning a group of people formally assembled for a special purpose. Convocation is the formal start to your college career, a bookend that complements graduation as the formal conclusion. Look around you at the entire class of 2017 plus. The next time you will all be gathered like this will be at the end of your remarkable college experience. So I encourage you to consider the significance of this moment. I hope you leave tonight with a fond memory which will last you through the next 4 years. It is now my pleasure to introduce our Provost and Executive Vice President, Dr. Mark Camlett.
Thank you, Ashley. Thank you very much. A hearty welcome to the class of 2017. We're so pleased to have you here. Let's see, it's 4 days down, 3 years, 8 months, 22 days to go, or 4 years, 8 months, 22 days for those in architecture. Yeah. Let me guarantee you that this will be one of, if not the most, exciting, interesting, challenging, and molding periods of your life. I'd like to begin with a little bit of history. The story of what we now call Carnegie Mellon University began on November 15th, 1900, when Andrew Carnegie wrote a letter to the mayor of Pittsburgh in announcing his wish to found a technical school in the city. He wrote, "If the city of Pittsburgh can furnish a site, which I hope will be of ample size for future extensions, I shall be delighted to furnish money for such a school, taking care to provide room for additions to the buildings to meet the certain growth of Pittsburgh. I will endow it with $1 million in 5% gold bonds, yielding a revenue of $50,000 per year. There are many questions to decide involving investigation, careful study, and much labor, but I am in position to assure you that the Commission is prepared to face the project and that my heart is in the work." As you have doubtless already heard this week, I'm sure, "My heart is in the work" has been a motto of this institution ever since, something I'll return to in a minute. So 4 years after Carnegie's letter, that is exactly 109 years ago from today, the city of Pittsburgh assembled the land that we're sitting on, and in that same year, Arthur Hammerschlag became the first president of what was then called Carnegie Technology Schools, and the charter class of 120 entered, most going part-time in the evening after work, more than 90% of them from here in Pittsburgh. Now, a bit over a century later, here you are, very different from that class in many, many ways. And a century may seem a long time, but for a university, it's quite young. Carnegie Mellon has been in constant transition during the past 108 years, from Carnegie Technical Schools to the Carnegie Institute of Technology in 1912, and then in 1967 to Carnegie Mellon University. In that short time, we've gone from a good regional technical school to one of the world's premier research universities with classes like you, whose strength and diversity reflects our stature. You, the entering class, come from 34 countries and 46 states, and we take great pride in this diversity. And your interactions with your fellow students, often coming from places and backgrounds very different than your own, are one important way through which you will broaden your view, even as you'll find your intellectual niche. Here you will encounter new perspectives, ideas, and opinions. You'll be on the frontier of emerging knowledge. You'll build upon your existing strengths, and you'll discover and delight in new ones. All of this will come as much from your social interactions as your intellectual ones, from the connections you make outside the classroom as the ones you make inside. And connectedness is absolutely part of the Carnegie Mellon experience. There are dozens and dozens of real and virtual organizations that you can be part of, sharing interests, linking to friends, broadening your horizons. Some of your experiences in the next few years will be wonderful and enriching. Some may be hard. When they are too hard, reach out. There are wonderful, supportive people here. Your teachers, your academic advisors, your resident advisors, the counseling staff, and the friends that you will meet. You will find teachers here who challenge you to succeed and nurture you along the way. Don't be shy with the faculty. Approach us. You will be surprised at how accessible we are. Your learning and growth is what we are here for. As you strive for academic excellence and personal development, each of you will choose a different path here at Carnegie Mellon. We value each of your diverse personalities, aspirations, and dreams. And as you proceed, may your heart be in the work. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to introduce the student who's been selected to share her perspective on the Carnegie Mellon experience. Lindsay McGilvery is a senior majoring in biological sciences and psychology, who is this year's student body president. Please join me.
Welcome to the class of 2017 plus. I am so honored to be speaking with all of you today. If you're like me, you might feel a bit awkward when it comes to first impressions. Orientation is a great example of that, isn't it? This is my fourth and final, hopefully, orientation, thanks to my work as an RA on the Hill. I was told I had to leave it on all week, I don't know. First impressions are tough. You've probably made a few mistakes this week already. Am I right? I have too. So what about the CMU first impression? Do me a favor. Raise your hand if you stepped onto campus and just knew that this was the perfect place for you. Great, that's awesome. Now, what about those who don't have their hands up? Don't worry, this was me too. It was approaching the end of April and the pressure was on to make a final decision about where I would go to college. I had some options, but my financial aid situation made CMU the obvious choice. This was why, when I attended Sleeping Bag Weekend, I was counting on CMU to give me the warm, fuzzy college feeling. I stepped onto campus, walked to the admissions office in Warner Hall with all the faint confidence I could summon. Let's just say 10 minutes later, I found myself crying in the bathroom, like actually crying. These people were weird. How could I go to a school that prided itself on waking up at 6 a.m. to push a small girl up a hill? If my first impression a few minutes ago wasn't good, it's definitely not getting better now. Who cries after being on campus for 10 minutes? Apparently I do. But don't worry, this story's not over yet. For after a few minutes, I decided to avoid crying in public bathrooms, probably a good call, and tried to keep an open mind for the rest of my trip. It was later in the day that I was involved in a conversation that made me reconsider my previous tears. Maybe these people weren't all so weird. Maybe this peculiarity was the result of the excitement and energy that they put into achieving their goals. Fast forward 5 months, and I'm a freshman moving in on the Hill. From community collage to Playfair, it was during this week that I realized that interesting and driven students weren't unique to my Sleeping Bag Weekend. I met students who dreamed big. They wanted to become opera singers and solve the world's energy problems. I met students who were passionate. They would talk for hours about cooking, wellness, Star Wars, or Haiti. As I continued my first year, which then became my second and third, I never stopped being impressed by these students that I know were going to change the world. But I sometimes struggled to understand what my own passion was. While everyone was off doing big things, I felt like I wasn't at the same level. But if I can say anything about being a student at CMU, it's that it's okay to feel small sometimes. Everyone has something special to offer our campus. You wouldn't be here otherwise. As Dr. Suresh said, every one of us is going to be a physics Nobel laureate and an Emmy Award winner, right? Which is interesting because I'm not quite sure how psych and biology are going to get me there, but we'll see. Anything is possible. Anyways, that's my challenge to you. Maybe not becoming a Nobel laureate or winning an Emmy, but finding your own passion. I know that some of you have already found this desire, from the Spider-Man DJs to the Pokemon knitters. This class is full of students who are ready to tackle their goals as soon as possible. But don't be worried if this isn't you, and remember that your passion doesn't have to be grandiose, technical, or world-changing. Okay, so find your passion, do great things, sounds good. Easy, right? Maybe not. For me, it took many semesters at CMU before I could really be genuine about what drives the work that I do on campus. What should you do in the meantime? Join clubs, get involved, engage in those midnight conversations that start when you realize you only have 2 days to use as many meal blocks as possible. Talk to your professors, talk to your floor mates, talk to your RA, talk to the person taking that midnight order at Skibo Cafe. Take interesting classes, take trips to explore the city that we live in, take the time to ask the questions. As the experience education video that you saw yesterday states, our choices are our priorities. Make those choices to figure out your priorities, and soon your priorities will develop into passions. While thinking about writing this speech, I reflected back to my moments in the Warner Hall bathroom. And it is because of that that I challenge you to move beyond the first impressions. Don't you want people to move beyond yours? Get to know what this university has to offer and find your passion in the most unsuspecting of places. But I recognize that this journey might not be easy. You will probably lose track of these passions, get sidetracked by some other goal, or feel overwhelmed with options. At these times, it's okay to cry a bit in the bathroom. But remember, you're part of the family now, and you've got thousands of other tartan-clad family members to rely on. If there is anything that I can do in the process of finding or pursuing your passions, please let me know. As Dr. Seuss wisely writes, you have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. Welcome to Carnegie Mellon University. May both your brains and your feet lead you to discover all your passions.
Could we give Lindsay one more round of applause? That was fabulous. She's very humble, but you should know that she spent the summer teaching in Kenya, and I can now just imagine how lucky her students were there. We're all very honored to have you with us as a student body president this year. Thank you. In the spring of 1941, in the midst of the Second World War, Kamaladevi Chattopadhyay sat down in the whites-only section of a segregated train traveling through the American South. Now, just across the Louisiana border, the ticket collector ordered her to move. She asked him why, and he replied, "That is the rule, and you better obey it, or you will regret it." She did not move. He went away, and after a few minutes he came back, subdued, it seemed, by something that he'd learned. He asked her, "Where are you from?" She replied evasively, "New York," which is where the train had come from. No, he said, "I mean, which land do you hail from?" Now, at this point, Kamaladevi could have said, "Look, buddy, I'm a famous Indian dignitary, friends of Mahatma Gandhi. I just spoke with members of the U.S. Supreme Court, the United States Congress, and had tea with the President of the United States. Get out of my face." But instead, when pressed on which land she hailed from, Kamaladevi said, "It makes no difference. I am a colored woman, obviously, and I refuse to leave my seat." Fast forward 20 years. February 1st, 1960, 4 college freshmen changed the world by doing what you all are doing right now. They sat down. They were black, and their seats were reserved for whites. That first day there were 4. The next day they came back. Their group was now 30. By the third day, there were 80. By the fourth day, there were 300. By the end of the month, thousands and thousands of students had sat in across the country. Those 4 college freshmen had galvanized the civil rights movement. Now, at this point, some of you are probably worrying that this is going to be one of those cookie-cutter inspirational speeches about how you, too, can change the world. Don't worry. This isn't going to be about how you can change the world. It's going to be about how we are changing the world. The great novelist David Foster Wallace tells a story. I bet some of you know it. It's about two young fish that swim past an older fish. And as they're passing, the older fish asks them a question. How's the water? The two young fish nod, smile, swim along, and then one turns to the other and asks, what's water? Wallace's point is that all of us can learn to live better if we come to see all that we normally take for granted. One of the best ways that we can come to recognize the water in our lives is to realize that all of us are swimming around in it together. Take a minute. Turn to someone sitting next to you and look them in the eye. And do this for 10 seconds. All of you too. No shirkers here, all right? 10 seconds. Look at them in the eye. And while you're doing that, think about this. Okay, hold on. You got to look them in the eye. You got to look them in the eye and think about this. You are looking into the eyes of a totally different human being whose hopes and dreams and experiences are ultimately beyond your comprehension. Okay, now, look around the tent for a moment. Think about all the different human beings that are here in this tent right now. Now imagine if somehow we could create a giant Carnegie Mellon mind meld. If we could become a colossal CMU thousand-brained giant. We could become the most powerful being in the universe. We would be able to play dozens of instruments. We could speak most of the world's languages. We could program robots, debate poetry, write philosophy books. We could design new buildings. We could create startups. We could map the human brain. We could achieve total world domination, friends. Unfortunately, I haven't yet figured out how to make us into a colossal CMU giant. But the good news is that we're already something even better. We may not be a giant, but we are a community. Community is what Kamaladevi Chattopadhyay and that train and those students in Greensboro worked to create, and they did it by looking beyond the divisions that separate us one from the other in order to see something so beautiful, perhaps the most beautiful thing human beings are ever able to create. It was a community of love and respect. And friends, that's what you're coming into right now, a community of love and respect. I love the Carnegie Mellon community. This past semester, my wife and I brought a group of 10 Carnegie Mellon students to Doha, Qatar, and to India. When we were in India, we lived in the last ashram of Mahatma Gandhi, and we worked with a large rural development organization overseen by a Tepper alum that works to carry forward Gandhi's legacy. And one of the projects we worked on was to create a series of workshops for the leaders of several women's collaboratives in the area around that ashram. And these workshops combined lessons in leadership, business, computer skills, and English. And it was amazing to watch global history students and creative writers working with students from Tepper and CIT and information systems to bring knowledge to these leaders. Just before our largest workshop, we were going to have about 200 women in this giant room at the ashram. And just before the workshop, we got a group of 6 students come from the CMU Qatar campus. And all of a sudden, not only were we an incredibly interdisciplinary team, but we were also international. We had students from across the United States working with students from Tunisia, from India itself, from the Philippines. And we were all working together, not just as Carnegie Mellon students, but as a community of love and respect that was inclusive not just of Carnegie Mellon students, but also of the people that we were working with. Friends, if you're going to get the most from the Carnegie Mellon community, there's really only one thing you have to do. The only thing you have to do is to fall in love. Fall in love with a question, fall in love with a project, fall in love with a book, fall in love with a person, fall in love with a place, with an instrument, with a play. Just don't fall in love with yourself. And be sure, be absolutely sure, that you share your love with all of us. We are a community, and friends, today our community has become so much better because you're here. Welcome to Carnegie Mellon. Welcome home.
Thank you, Dr. Slate. It is now my pleasure to present the class of 2017 with their tile. When the Carnegie Technical Schools, now known as Carnegie Mellon University, opened their doors on October 16, 1905, 120 students comprised the charter class. When these students graduated in June 1908, a bronze tile was installed in the floor of the entrance to Baker Hall to commemorate their accomplishments. In that tradition, a tile has been added to the floor each year thereafter to honor the most recent graduating class. It is my pleasure to present the class of 2017 with your class tile. Will Gudri Singh and Evan Bergeron please come forward? It is our hope that this tile will pass through the hands of every member of your class over the next 4 years and find its way back to your commencement day, reflecting the memories of your time here. The next 4 years will hold many things for you: new people, new experiences, and new challenges. I hope that when your tile is added to Baker Hall upon your commencement, you will have made the most of these new opportunities and contributed in your own unique way to Carnegie Mellon University. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce to you the 9th president of Carnegie Mellon University, Dr. Subra Suresh.
Thank you, Ashley. I also want to thank you for being one of the head orientation counselors this year, one of the 7 orientation counselors, who with a team of 130 people made this week what it is today, along with the wonderful staff at Carnegie Mellon University. Thank you. Thank you all. So I had the distinct honor and pleasure of meeting with many of you over the weekend. I also had the privilege of meeting many of your parents, siblings, grandparents, and family members. So if there are any parents still in the audience, please raise your hand. If you are here and if you did not raise your hand, it's still not too late to leave. I know this week during the orientation week, you had a lot of opportunity to learn about what to do next, where to go, who to talk to, what to do during the course of next 4 years, what not to do, and all the opportunities that lie ahead of you, at least over the next 4+ years. You also heard a lot about opportunities, privileges that come with being a Carnegie Mellon student. You also heard about the responsibilities that come with being a member of the Carnegie Mellon community. This is a wonderful time, not only for you, but it's also for me. Because as I mentioned to you on Sunday, I'm also a freshman at Carnegie Mellon University. Thank you. University presidents are not supposed to graduate in 4 to 5 years. So this class, the class of 2017 plus, is a very special class for me. 20 years from now, 30 years from now, as I look back at this class, as I talk to my grandchildren, perhaps great-grandchildren, I can proudly talk about the accomplishments of my freshman class, the class with whom I joined Carnegie Mellon University. So I don't want to put pressure on you, but a lot of what I'm going to say 30 years from now heavily depends on what you're going to do, not just in the next 4 years, but well beyond the next 4 years. Today's convocation marks a clear demarcation line between the end of the orientation program, or if you will, the end of the initial honeymoon period, as you begin your academic program next Monday. It also marks an opportunity for you to assess all the various possibilities that lie ahead. The class of 2017 tile was presented to you. So when you graduate, that tile will be placed in the floor of Baker Hall. That tile symbolizes your own unique identity, how you have realized your own aspirations during the last 4 years. It symbolizes your potential in many future years to come, and it will mark permanently your own class culture that has become the part and parcel of the fabric or the tapestry or the plaid of Carnegie Mellon University. You heard today as you walked in the bagpipes. You will hear it as a class one more time at the commencement when you graduate in 2017. There are not that many times where formally you will hear this. When my family and I were introduced to the Carnegie Mellon community, we were delighted to see the bagpipe music as a way of introduction for us. And I look forward to talking to you when you reach that stage. I also very much look forward to working with you during the next 4 years, 4+ years, as you achieve many things on campus, as we together shape the future of this great university and hope to take it to even greater heights. One of the great things about being a president of any university, and especially a very distinguished university like Carnegie Mellon, is that you get to meet highly accomplished people all over the world. Carnegie Mellon has 92,000 living alumni scattered across the globe. In the coming months, weeks, and years, I will have the privilege of meeting many of them. And one of the things that I've already realized is the fact that these people who went through the campus in specific departments, in specific schools or colleges, specific degree programs, as they move on in life, as they become leaders and movers and shakers, when they look back, it's the university, it's the community, it's the one Carnegie Mellon that they see as an attachment. That doesn't mean they don't have affection and affiliation to particular units. And the reason for viewing this and looking back and reflecting positively on Carnegie Mellon is because the sum of the individual parts leads to something that's much, much greater as a university. And this is one of the reasons why Carnegie Mellon, in addition to all its individual excellence in different schools and colleges and units, has become such a powerful force on a global scale with enormous impact enormous distinction and enormous reach. So as you go through the campus, soon you will be introduced to different college deans. As you go through the campus in your own units, don't ignore the opportunities that lie ahead for you in some other parts of campus. The giants who have gone through Carnegie Mellon campus well before anybody else saw the opportunities that lie outside of their own boundaries. It's the opportunities that they identified before anyone else put Carnegie Mellon in a unique position, whether it's discovery of new fields or discovery of new perspectives that create new fields that have a global impact. So I wish this class all the very best. I look forward to working with you, and I look forward even more 30 years from now to telling stories about this class that has elevated Carnegie Mellon University to a much greater height than it is already today, and it's very well known. I look forward to working with you to reach that even greater height. Thank you very much. So now, it's my pleasure to ask the entering students in each college to rise as I announce them so that I may present your college or your school dean to you. Will the students from the Carnegie Institute of Technology please rise? You guys have great memory. That's important for engineering. So Dean Garrett, Dean Jacobson, Dean Larson, and faculty and staff of the college, I present to you the Carnegie Institute of Technology class of 2017. Congratulations. Please be seated. Will the students from the College of Fine Arts please rise? I have to say, it is a very good-looking group. So Dean Martin, Dean Shanna Mayo, Dean Anderson, and faculty and staff of the college, I present to you the College of Fine Arts class of 2017 and 2018 for architecture. Congratulations. Please be seated. Will the students from the Bachelor of Humanities and Arts program, the Bachelor of Science and Arts program, and the Bachelor of Computer Science and Arts program please rise? I thought the computer science students sent me a text message because my phone was buzzing in my coat pocket. So, Dean Martin, Dean Lahosky, Dean Gilman, Dean Bryant, and faculty and staff of the College of Fine Arts, the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, the Mellon College of Science, and the College of Computer Science, I present to you the BHA, BSA, and BCSA class of 2017. Congratulations. Will the students from the Dietrich College of Humanities and Social Sciences please rise? Dean Lahosky, Dean Devine, Dean Junker, and faculty and staff of the college, I present to you the Dietrich College, Dietrich Humanities and Social Science class of 2017. Congratulations. Will the students from the Science and Humanities Scholars Program please rise? Over there. Dean Gilman, Dean Lahosky, and faculty and staff of the colleges, I present to you the Science and Humanities Scholars class of 2017. Congratulations. Will the students from the Mellon College of Science please rise? Dean Gilman. Thank you. Thank you very much. I can't top that. Dean Gilman, Dean Grotzinger, and faculty and staff of the college, I present to you the Mellon College of Science class of 2017. Congratulations. Will the students from the School of Computer Science please rise? Dean Bryant. Sorry, go ahead, please. Dean Bryant, Dean Cortina, and faculty and staff of the college, I present to you the School of Computer Science class of 2017. Congratulations. Will the students from the Tepper School of Business please rise? Dean Damon, Dean Trick, and faculty and staff of the college, I present to you the Tepper class of 2017. Congratulations and welcome to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Suresh. All right, at this time, I'd like to welcome up the students to sing the Alma Mater. Thank you for that lovely rendition of our alma mater. I'd like to express my thanks to President Suresh, Dr. Camlet, Dr. Slate, today's speakers and singers, deans, faculty, and staff, and most of all you, the class of 2017 plus. Once again, I welcome you to the Carnegie Mellon community and wish you the best for this coming semester and the rest of your time here at CMU. In a moment, the bagpipers will begin playing the recessional music. Please remain in the tent until the bagpipers have recessed. I hope all of you will join us for the Convocation dinner in the Weekend Gymnasium immediately following the recessional. For students attending the Clippership cruise, please be mindful of bus departure times when attending dinner. Thank you and enjoy your fall semester.